Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. As always, if you're new to the channel, what we're doing here, we are creating all of Hyrule, the entire land of Hyrule, in the art style of the Wind Waker. So welcome if you're new to the channel. This is a 3D modeling fan project. Of course, you know if you've played Wind Waker, you know that all the islands of the Great Sea are the mountaintops of Hyrule, but we never get to see anything but the mountaintops. So using the islands of the Great Sea, we're showing what is below them. And I'm really excited to keep working on it. I've been really encouraged by all your comments. Something we're doing now is working on a new idea for Castle Town. As you can see, we're getting a little experimental here. It's a completely new design for Castle Town, but I like the idea. You know, I was unsure of it a video ago, but I think with a little bit of attention, it'll work. I just made an opera house for Hyrule and put that in Castle Town. And this design is all thanks to your comments and the fact that I put up a poll on the community page of this YouTube channel. So go there if you want to, make sure that you have a voice. I also read comments. Feel free to comment down below and comment your ideas and anything you have. Of course, I really encourage that. But I had a poll recently where I asked y'all how y'all wanted to see Castle Town in the Wind Waker. Did you want to see it on the Great Plateau? Did you want to see it on the path between Ganon's Tower and Hyrule Castle? Where is Castle Town? Because I think it makes sense for it to exist. It just was destroyed by the time of the Wind Waker. So we're getting a little experimental, and something y'all commented and voted for was seeing Hyrule Castle Town suspended kind of over the water. There's canals. It's a part of the lake. And I think that would be a really interesting design. So that's what we're working on. And it's a little experimental. So comment down below if you think it works. Or if you don't, just, feel free to let me know. So like I said, I really do encourage y'all's input, and I really have enjoyed this being a really community-driven project. I've really found that rewarding, to see how much y'all care about Hyrule and, just the ideas that you have about locations that you want to see and how it would line up with the islands of the Great Sea. And a lot of that effort, of course, also comes from the original map. This project is made possible thanks to a map made by Jacob Zachariah from DeviantArt. Look up the Lost Kingdom. That was the original map that he created that completely inspired this project. And I take a lot of cues from it. You can see it on screen. That's the map in the background that is informing the placement of, all the creative decisions I make, are really informed by that original map. So that made everything possible. 100%. But yeah. All this to say is, I really value y'all's creativity, and I like this being a group project in that sense, for sure. But also, like, if you're a 3D modeler and want to collaborate, feel free to shoot me an email. You can find my email on the, I think it's on the About page of my YouTube channel. So feel free to hit me up if y'all want to be involved. We're getting all the spiel out of the way. What else do I have to say? If you want, another place where you can make your voice heard, I just set up a Discord page. It's fresh, right out of the oven. I've never really used Discord before. Like I've had like some things, but like I haven't really used it. And this is probably like the only, reason that I would use it is just for this channel. That's my confession, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not very, very tech savvy. Sometimes I feel like, but I have really enjoyed starting that and creating this community space where we can all share ideas and talk about the project and talk about Zelda. So feel free to come on over to the Discord channel page. I don't know what to call it. And we can talk Zelda and share ideas for this project. So see you there. I'll put a link in the description, of course. So, as you can tell, and maybe you've seen from the title of the video, what we're doing here is we're creating a bathhouse. And these are very elegant places. And, in case you don't know, bathhouses were a place in the ancient world where it was the ancient swimming pool, right? It was a place where you could go, where you could have community, where you could discuss the, your philosophical ideas. I don't know. This is the idea. This is the image I have in my mind for the ancient, Roman bathhouse, right? But I thought it'd be a really cool way of having like a community space in Hyrule Castle Town. That's something I've been really trying to do with these Hyrule Castle Town locations, because if I have an opportunity to kind of do my own take on this great city around the castle, I feel like it'd be really cool to show its prosperity by showing its community and having these communal spaces, having cultural spaces. That's something I value, and I feel like it's an opportunity to really get into the culture of Hyrule and show what's possible with that setting. And so comment down below if you have any ideas kind of on that front. I think it'd be really cool to kind of create those kinds of spaces, even things that would be surprising. Something I wonder about, let me know what y'all think, is that because I'm not really sure what the stance is on this, but like Hyrule, like we hear a lot about the religions of Hyrule, and we see the Temple of Time, and we talk about the golden goddesses and the goddess Hylia, and a lot of these ideas are they work in tandem with each other. It seems to me that this Hyrulean religion, honors both the goddess Hylia and the golden goddesses, But I guess the question is, are there separate religions? Could there be different churches? Maybe there is the Temple of Time, but there's also, and you have temples throughout the land, right? And the Gerudo have their temple of the sand goddess, right? In the spirit temple. And I think that some of these locations are, built by different people groups with different religions. But I wonder if even Hyrule Castle Town has religious diversity, and I think that could even be interesting. Is there like a Gerudo temple in Hyrule Castle Town? Is there a place for the Zora? Is there a place for the Gorons? In sharing this world together, how does that inform Castle Town? And I think it could be really interesting to have that melting pot, have those shared ideas. And I mean, I don't know, like it is like, I mean, this is dominated by the Hylians and the royal family, and I do think that would also inform some things. It is their castle, but I do like the idea of kind of bringing the world together in this city, and I think that could be really interesting. And I'm not sure that Hyrule Castle Town has ever been really realized with that philosophy, and I think that would just be interesting to kind of iterate on Hyrule Castle Town and do a new design, right? And incorporate all those ideas in that way. And and this is something that I think allows us to be more creative than some of the other regions of the map. So I'm really interested to keep working on Hyrule Castle Town and adding new locations to it that kind of answer all those questions, because that's something that I value here. It's not just 3D modeling, and we're not just recreating areas from other games, but it's an opportunity to really expand on the lore of the world by adding to it and adding in our own ideas, and coming up with our best theories and working together. It's not just combining all the locations from other games, and it's not just mixing it all together. This is a project where we can think about these questions and come up with our own answers. What does Hyrule look like before the flood in the Wind Waker? What is that world like? What are its values? How are its cities? What exists, and how are they shaped by the world and the landscape, and all these questions that I think are worth getting into, that I really hope that this project kind of encourages. Because I think that like the original developers were thinking about all that stuff, and even if we don't see much of Hyrule, I'm so impressed by the map of the Great Sea, and I've talked about this on previous videos, but I really feel like the developers of the Wind Waker, in designing the game and modeling these locations, there were a lot of questions that they had to answer that they answered that maybe they didn't have to answer. I mean, we're told it's Hyrule, but there's things that they didn't have to think about. You're creating islands, and you could really make an island that's anything. And there is a range of islands, but it's clear that they were really thinking about, well, how does this line up with Hyrule? I really think that they were. And I think that we see that, of course, with Dragon Roost and Windfall and the Forsaken Fortress and Outset. And I think all these locations are informed by the fact that they exist in Hyrule. And I think that that's really cool. I mean, that's the way I see it. I really feel like the developers have, were thinking it out. And the Forest Haven, of course, that's a location that like it clearly references Ocarina of Time. And I think that it's really fascinating how much the world of the Wind Waker and its design was impacted by the developers really wanting to show more than they could. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's details in the world that tell you about the world, even though you don't see much of it. And I think that that's just cool. And I think that's really what has inspired this project, is that like by digging into Wind Waker, there are things to dig into. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a superficial game. This is why I love Wind Waker, is because there's stuff below the surface, you know, and I guess like, you know, metaphorically and now literally in this project, I suppose. But that's why I feel like this project is possible. It's just because those original developers really showed us a glimpse of a world that felt like there could be so much more to it. And I'm excited to keep working on it and keep digging into those questions. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling, but I simply love Wind Waker. And I love a reason to, part of why I do this project is just to give me a reason to ask those questions myself and think more about this world that I love. And that, it's that simple. So I don't know, maybe I've said this all before, but it's always worth repeating. So anyway, I'm going to start wrapping up the video. I think we're getting close to the end of the time lapse. So I'm gonna give you all the ending spiel now. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know all this already. But if there's anyone new, I just set up a Patreon, and if you want to be able to support me as a creator and help make the creation of this project possible, as well as the creation of all of my other projects, feel free to visit my Patreon. There's a link in the About section of this YouTube channel. So feel free to navigate over there, and I'll see you there. You get all kinds of access to bonus features, behind the scenes stuff for all my filmmaking projects as well. I have a whole main channel dedicated to my short films, and feel free to subscribe there if you want to see some of that stuff. But yeah, I'd love to see you there. That would really mean a lot. And I mean, there's other ways to support me there. I have a Ko-fi page where you can donate. I also have music. If you've heard any music in the background of this video, that was my music. And you can support me by listening to it on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. Look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify. That's JoeKendrick. I think I spelled that right. So, but yeah, that's all the spiel out of the way. Yeah, I mean, those are all, I've told you what you need to know. And like I said, I have a Discord that just launched. And if you want to be more active in the community and contribute your own ideas to this fan project, I'd love to see you there. I read all the YouTube comments, and just it's so cool to see how many ideas y'all have, and how interested y'all have been in this project. I've really appreciated seeing how much YouTube has been pushing these videos and how many new faces have been subscribing to the channel. So feel free to subscribe for more. So, I mean, yeah, that's the ending spiel. We got a little bit more on the time lapse, so let's watch the ending together. This was a bathhouse in Hyrule Castle Town. I'm really excited about this, and seeing this location, watching this time lapse makes me a lot more excited about Castle Town and talking about it in this video, because it is risky, and it's a design that has never really been in a Zelda game before, but I like the idea of it, and I like the idea of these kind of like Venice-like canals, and especially just like it being a hub of culture. So I'm excited about that. Here's a little before and after, just the work that we got done today. It's a whole new building in Castle Town. And behold, something I've been doing is doing these renders at the end of videos, and I think that's been helpful for just showing y'all it's a little bit more elegant than just like scrolling around the viewport. So there it is. Here's just a look at how Hyrule looks. Oh man, I think it's beautiful. You could just start to imagine even more buildings in between these locations, but I'm so excited to keep realizing this world. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I've rambled enough. I'll let y'all go.